Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. Today's video will be picking up right where my last one left off, so if you haven't watched that, be sure to at least check out the end part where I tell you how to get started with the Griffin mount. But for this video, we're going to be covering the Crystal Oasis Griffin mount collection. I sort of broke down what you're going to need for this collection in the last video, but it's basically just a few hearts, some open world content, and tracking down some Griffon eggs, and that is the order that I'll be doing this and all future videos pertaining to the Griffin mount. And with that, guys, let's get you started on this. Alright guys, so first and foremost, we need to get 2 items from some heart vendors in the Crystal Oasis map, and each one of those items is going to run you 25 gold, so for this guide at least, make sure you have 50 gold. The first heart vendor will be at the Temple of Cormyr waypoint, and you'll be looking for the heart vendor there, Priest Hakim. Now, just like all hearts in Guild Wars, you're going to need to complete it before you can actually turn that heart into a vendor. And for these guides, I won't be covering any specifics on how to complete the heart, as I think they do a fair job of covering that information in game. So next we're going to need the Sun Spear Teeth, again from a heart vendor. This time we'll be visiting Priestess Karima, and she'll be the heart vendor just to the east of the Anmoon waypoint. If it helps at all, she'll be the one surrounded by all the tents. Moving on to the open world content required for this map, you'll need Gundeo, the Rune of Honesty, that you can only get from completing the Corrupted Facet Legendary Bounty. Head over to Destiny's Gorge waypoint, and just north of the waypoint you should see a bounty board that can sometimes spawn the Corrupted Facet Legendary Bounty. Now this next part probably goes without saying, but if you've never done a bounty before, these are not single player activities, especially the legendary variety. Just open up that looking for group tool, sort by the Crystal Oasis, and if you don't see any posts for the bounty you'd like to do, be sure to add your own post. I've done this for the entire collection anytime a bounty is required of me, and I've had no problems completing these bounties. The rune itself is actually acquired when the event for this bounty completes. And for the Desert Oasis, this is actually the only open world part of the collection. So now we get to move on to the fun part, where you get to mount up on a temporary griffin and track down some griffon eggs. Now, while we will be looking for these eggs in the Crystal Oasis map, to get to the first roost, we're going to need to start at the Desert Highlands at the Macaulay Outpost waypoint. From here, we're just going to head south and use the portal to get back into the Crystal Oasis. You could take any route you like, I just happen to think that this is a little bit faster. Once you're through the waypoint, just continue heading south and head over to the ridge that you can see off in the distance. Once you're near the ridge, you should be able to use the Springer mount to jump up on there, and then just head over to where you can kind of see some structures that look like they're built into the side of the mountain, and you'll know you're in the right place. Jump up those structures until you get to the very top, and you should see a Griffin Nest. And now that we're next to one, you should notice that on your map, all Griffin roosts will be marked with this purple feather symbol. To grab the egg, just interact with the Griffin Nest, and shortly after grabbing the egg, you should notice that you can actually climb up on this mount and use it. And this is pretty much how the Griffin Egg scavenger hunt portion of this is going to go. We're going to find a Griffin roost and get up on there and use that Griffin to find all the other eggs. So for the next egg, we just need to use the Griffin mount at the roost point and head northwest. A good indication that you're headed in the right direction will be the dome-shaped building, and our second Griffin egg will be on the slightly elevated platform just before you reach that domed building. Once you've collected the egg, head back to the first roost point. After grabbing another Griffin mount, head southeast until you hit the Cormyr Temple waypoint, and then immediately start heading south towards the big circle at the bottom of the map. Once you're close enough, you should be able to see which pillar has the Griffin Nest on it, and you'll just need to land there and grab that Griffin egg. And since you'll still have a Griffin, if you haven't already gotten the mastery point over there, now might not be such a bad time to do so. Once you're finished here, head back to that roost point again, and this time we're actually just going to drop off the southern half of the little mountain range we're up on, and hover down to just below the Griffin we just got, and you should see another Griffin Nest. Once you've got the egg, it's only one more Griffon egg we need to track down, and actually this is the last thing for the Crystal Oasis Griffon collection. Head over to the Cormyr Temple waypoint, and from here just head north over the bridge until you reach this small town. And before moving through that town, be sure to hang a quick right and head east down the small path between some buildings. You will have a few enemies to avoid, and you should start to see some branded crystals up ahead. You will need the Springer mount to get over the branded crystal portion of this path, and on the other side you should see the giant destroyed pyramid we saw in some trailer footage before the expansion came out. Our final Griffon spot is going to be at the very top of this pyramid, and there are a few ways that you can handle this. You can jump around the outside, as you will need to be outside of the pyramid to jump in, and you should see that once we get a little bit closer. Or if you head inside the pyramid, there's actually a little ramp that'll take you most of the way to the top, but there are lots of AoE circles to dodge, and so that's entirely up to you. While using the ramp is kind of tedious because you'll be put in and out of combat, I did find it to be more reliable than trying to jump on random chunks of pyramid and make my way to the top. Where this little path dead ends, you should see a hero point, and you can use the Springer mount to start jumping up that extra little bit you need to get to the last nest. Now remember, as I said earlier, we can only access this Griffin Nest from outside the pyramid, so once you get to the hero point at the top of the path, you should probably try and stay to the outside of each of the little pyramid chunks that you're jumping on. There's only one opening on one side of the triangle, so try to orient yourself in a way that'll get you there, but if not, you should be able to jump around the outskirts on the Springer mount to find the opening so that you can get your last Griffon egg. And that, guys, is where I'm going to call this guide. That'll be everything you need to complete the Crystal Oasis Griffon Mount collection. Outside of the 50 gold and trying to jump up the random chunks of pyramids, it's not so bad. And honestly, I enjoyed the struggle of trying to make it to the top of the pyramid because we're playing a video game and that's challenging and fun. Anyway, guys, that's basically it. I will have another guide coming out here shortly on the Desert Highlands, so stay tuned for that. And I hope this helped you guys get one step closer to your Griffon mount. It's pretty awesome once you get it all unlocked. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.